Good morning, welcome. My name is Leanne Peters. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to pull some cards. Yay! And share some guidance for this week ahead. That's this week starting Wednesday the 7th of June through to Tuesday the 13th of June 2023. So welcome. While you're coming over, I want to send out an extra big special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons for June, my Pillar of Light members, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. I'm coming to you live now from Tasmania, Australia, where it is Wednesday the 7th of June here, and the time is exactly 9:44 a.m. So I trust this video finds you well, and hopefully you'll find something helpful within its content, whatever that's going to be, because I don't know right now. So if you're new to watching, welcome. What I'm going to do is use my oracle cards here that I created. I've got two decks together. We've got the Animal Kingdom oracle cards and the Speed of Light oracle cards. And I've combined these two decks together to make a 110 card deck. So I made the two decks the same size so I could do this. So you're very welcome to do this too with yours, or use them separately. So I'll be using this deck to find the best cards that the majority of us need for this week ahead. And I recommend that you take on board what feels right and what resonates and what fits into your life easily. So the things that those things you can probably pay a bit of extra attention to. I'm sure it's no accident that something shared resonates. So why does it resonate? What does that mean for you at this point or this time? So I recommend you come back and connect with this video throughout the week to get your bearings and see how things are fitting. So last week our theme was the owl, the masked owl, and it reminded us of being and persistent last week. Last week was certainly not the time to give up, even though we may have wanted to, because things may have the pressure may have intensified last week. So, yeah, that was our theme for the last reading week. So now we turn our attention to this week, starting Wednesday the 7th of June through to Tuesday the 13th of June 2023. So I'm shuffling my cards and I'm asking the cards to show us, the majority of us, what we need to know for this next week, from the 7th till the 13th of June 2023. And I trust that the best cards will find their way to the top of the deck. Good morning, everybody. It's lovely to see you all here. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, so the best cards for this week for the majority of us are these. So I'm just going to duck down here and lay these out face down. So just excuse me a second. So I'm just going to do 2 rows of 4. So we have in the top row 3 Speed of Light, 1 Animal Kingdom. In the bottom row 3 Animal Kingdom, 1 Speed of Light. So let's turn these over. See what we got here. Okay, all straightforward, no dragons, no featured cards, so I can put the rest of my deck away. So, let's start. Wednesday, the 7th of June, we have card 18 called New Pathways. It says options, children, birth, choice, and life's path. This is about options being available to us. If we're only the simple, but I guess the hard part is to be open to noticing that there are options, there are potentially alternatives or options or opportunities that are laying out before us at this time. And some of us may know this already. We may already be maybe facing a decision that we need to make, or looking at the options. We may have 3 options before us. Which one do we want to take? Can we take them all? Is there any way we can work this out? So it's about, I think, expanding, you know, like when the condor comes up, which hasn't come up today, the condor reminds me of expanding our tunnel vision. So instead of having tunnel vision going down one specific path in one certain way, the condor reminds us to expand our horizons and expand our perceptions so we can potentially be open to more options or solutions or more opportunities, let's say, a wider horizon before us instead of having a tunnel vision to get to a certain place. So this card feels like the next step of that. So the Condor is about our perceptions expanding, whereas this one is about, it's like we've already expanded our perceptions and now we have the options, the pathways laid out here right in front of us to decide or pick and choose, or to allow those options or the potentials that are on the tip of our tongue or just here at the forefront of our mind to solidify somehow, to become a little more revealing of the intricate details of what these things are. You know, sometimes we have an idea or a thought about something and it's just purely that, and then if it's worth further exploring, then we might explore it and bring it into a more solid form, if you like. So that's sort of what I'm feeling here with this card for Wednesday, is that the paths are laid out before us, the options, the opportunities, the decisions that we need to make, or the things that are being presented to us perhaps, or maybe they're things that are coming from us, ideas that we want to investigate or explore or consider taking to the next level. These are laid out before us. It's almost like laying out a bunch of clothes for the day right in front of us on the table, and we're now picking and choosing which clothes. But I mean, that's fairly superficial compared to what I'm feeling here. This is more connected with ideas, life's path, options, solutions to problems, that sort of thing. So we can in some ways pick and choose, and the clothes thing's interesting actually, like having various clothes laid out on the table. What will we pick and choose to wear? And it kind of feels like we can mix and match, and there might be something here connected with the options available before us, that maybe we can pick a little bit of this path and a little bit of that path and bring it together to make a stronger one path, if you like, at this particular time. So that's what I'm feeling with this card. So let's notice, I guess, what's there and see and decide what we want to do and what we can pick and choose to take with us moving forward. Now, Thursday, the 8th of June, we have the Nautilus, card 39, and the Nautilus says to break negative patterns. So break negative patterns. I talked a lot about this last week, so I don't really need to go into all that again this week, but it's still coming up. So there might still be remnants of negativity or heavy energy that's hovering or that we're tying up or completing at this time over these probably this last couple of days, and probably in the days to come. There might be sort of a tying up of loose ends that have been perhaps weighing us down, of situations and things that we're dealing with that may have a negative or a heavy energy to them. So we might be sort of shifting out of that, is the feeling. But if you find negativity still hovering quite loudly at this time, especially on Thursday, then it might be a favourable time, a favourable day to really look closely at that negativity and the negative patterns that we're holding on to. It's like what I talked about last week about the negative loop and the broken record, and that sort of similar energy is still coming up now, or at least for Thursday. So we've been encouraged here to break the shell, break the pattern, break the negativity, and that it really is up to us. So Thursday feels favourable to perhaps continue looking at this, or to make some breakthrough in that negative, heavy energy that we might be dealing with. Okay, Friday the 9th of June, we have the Focus card, 38. It says holding position, timing, and growth. So this is about, you know, this path here represents our past, and this is us here standing tall and focused and strong here on this rock. This represents us right now in this moment, and this path is what's led us up to here, the here and now. And we know, hopefully, why we've made certain decisions and choices and closed doors and open doors, and why we've done things certain ways on our past path that's led us up to here. So we hopefully know that about ourselves. We might find at the moment, especially around Friday, that there might be naysayers or other people around us who don't understand the choices that we've made, maybe recently or at least in the past, and including the recent past, that we may need to stand up for ourselves, or we may need just to hold strong and firm in our stance and our focus, and shrugging off and letting those naysayers and that impact, that energy wash over us like water off a duck's back, so that we can trust and find a way to trust in the position of where we find ourselves today, and trust in the decisions that we've made that have led us up to this point in our life. And if we don't like where we are right now, or if there's something that, or things in our life that aren't working, then that's also something to look at. But as far as what's led us up to this point, it's been through that path that we've walked behind us. No one else has. I mean, people may have contributed or been a part of that journey at times, but it's been us that's made all those decisions and done what we've thought to be right at the time. So let's find peace with that, and let's stand strong in, I guess, the knowledge in some ways, the truth of who we are and the truth of what we've thought has been the best way to handle things in the past. And maybe we could have done things better. There's always, hindsight is quite incredible when we look back and think, oh gosh, I could have handled that better. So there's nothing wrong with admitting that we've made a mistake, or correcting an error, or apologising for something that we didn't know at the time was going to turn out the way it did. So, I think that's really important to do. But also I guess it's taking responsibility, isn't it? It's owning where we find ourselves now based on all the decisions that we've made in our past and what we thought to be best at the time. Making wrongs right if we need to, but owning and being responsible for where we are now. So this feels important in regards to what? I feel like it's important in regards to grounding ourselves in the here and now, and not losing ourselves perhaps in the potential negativity that's around, or losing ourselves in other people's opinions and their judgments of us. It's so easy to sit back and judge other people and think that we could make a better life or a better decision or a better choice than they've done. Now, if we're that person that other people are looking at and judging, it's not a comfortable thing at all to be dealing with. So I feel, let's stand tall in our sense of self. Let's be comfortable with where we find ourselves in our life right now. And if there are parts of our life at this time that are not working, and they haven't been for a while, then it's also up to us to make decisions now that are going to be in a year's time. This will be our past path that's led us up to where we stand in 1 year or 6 months or tomorrow, for example. So we can own and learn from the decisions that we've made to make better decisions today, to allow us to keep moving forward in a way that aligns with our truth and where we are in our life. So this is a time of focus. It's a time of taking responsibility. It's a time of not letting other people's judgments pull us down, but to stand tall in our sense of self and take responsibility for where we find ourselves in our life. So I trust that makes sense. There's growth in this card too, and it's interesting actually. It comes up next to this card, the Tree Maiden. This has also got a growth element. So we've got Friday with the focus card, growth. Saturday the 10th of June with the Tree Maiden, we've got growth here as well. This is growth in a bit of a different way. So she's standing here, or emerged, I guess, sort of with this tree here, but she's still in the moment, just like this yoga pose. In the moment, standing tall, standing strong as best as possible, but growing. Now, periods of growth tend to be uncomfortable. We're pushed outside of our comfort zone, but we're growing, we're improving, hopefully. That we're not going backwards, we're not stuck in that negative loop and just doing the same things day in, day out that are keeping us pinned down or held back or small. So growing, improving, changing is also included here. But this is the Tree Maiden, card 42, and it says endings, surrender, growth, and illumination. This is a potency that's come in for Saturday, and this amplifies things. So there's an amplification potentially around for Saturday where things may seem like they're under the magnifying glass. Things may feel like they're blown out of proportion, which could be more in the negative sense, but it can also be in the positive sense. So if we're having a really great day Saturday, then that might be amplified. If we're having a really low time and we're not taking responsibility for our choices in the past or where we find ourselves today, a lot of that stuff I was just talking about with the other card. If we're not owning that and we're wallowing in it and we're feeling pressured by other people's judgments and things and we're not really standing up for ourselves somehow, then we may find this amplification energy on Saturday might be amplifying that. And things may get louder. Things get louder when things are amplified. Why? Because they're trying to get our attention. So if we haven't noticed it when it's quieter, because we've been caught up in whatever, then it just gets louder, and then it gets louder and louder and louder and louder until we notice it. So the louder things are, the more it's trying to get our attention. You know, it's like if we're in a conversation with someone and there's a child behind us trying to get our attention. Maybe they've got to go to the toilet, so they're tapping on us, and they might just stand there first and we're not noticing them. Then they might tap on our hip or something, we're still not noticing them. Then they get louder and louder and louder, a little bit more desperate, if you like. So the energy will get like that, and even though it's really uncomfortable, this intense energy when this happens, it's actually quite the gift, really, because it's showing us that something in our life isn't working, and it's at a point now where it's loud enough for us to notice it. So what can we do about it? What can we do? Well, a part of the energy of this card is endings and surrendering and letting go. Sometimes it's that breakdown, that, you know, that breakdown energy where it's kind of like a surrender and a breaking and an ending so that we can break through. Sometimes we need to close doors. Sometimes we just have to make the tough decisions and then deal with the consequences of those as well. And sometimes, in fact, often, they turn out much better than what we thought they would. So we might have to make some serious decisions by the time we get to Saturday if things are still very loud and they're trying to get our attention in a very loud way. Okay, Sunday. So we have a bit of a shift here. Sunday, the 11th of June, we've got the Honeybee, card 32, and it says to take a short break. So Sunday might be a great day to put our feet up perhaps, or go for a drive into the country, or take a break from everyday things if that's something that we are able to do. There's a sense of efficiency too with this card, so doing things in an efficient way, in an efficient manner. And there's also a sweetness, you know, I'm thinking of honey and that sweet nectar of life, and the simplicity of the sweet things, the good things in life. That, you know, sometimes we're looking too far ahead or too pie in the sky for the goodness or the joy, we could say. But maybe if we look in the eyes of those we love, maybe if we just spend good quality time with our friends and family, maybe if we just have a nourishing conversation, maybe if we just walk out in nature or walk slowly through our garden or take some deep breaths under the moon or the sun, maybe these simple things this simplicity brings sweetness, is the feeling. A sweetness to the reality of our life, a moment to catch our breath and pause and notice the sweet things around us, the sweet moments that may just be quite simple and basic, but a good place to ground and reconnect with those simplistic things that are important in our life. Okay, Monday the 12th of June, we have the Wolf, card 44, and it says instincts, moon, cycles, flow, and trust. So Monday. So this is really highlighting cycles and how things move in cycles. And we have big cycles and small cycles and cycles within cycles. And there's a lot of cycles that are sort of constantly playing out in our life. And we can just look at the calendar for one. So, you know, we've got the annual cycle, our seasonal cycle, the monthly cycle. We've got our daily cycle. We've got the cycle of life and death as well, you know, on the bigger picture of our lifespan. And then there's all sorts of little cycles that we go through too. We go through cycles as well of rest and activity. So times when we feel more productive and times when we feel more restful. So let's notice, and we probably will notice, the cycles that are in play on Monday, cycling through. Cycles, I think, come up to remind us that things are always changing, things are always moving. So it's important to, or for me at least, it's important to find gratitude in the things that are working at the time, because things always change, and the people that are in our life, people are, you know, our relationships with people are going to change. So really feeling grateful for the people that are there now and the things that are working for us now. And as we move through difficult periods of our cycles too, reminding ourselves that it's temporary, that things will come back around again. You know, the sun will come out on the dawn for the new day again, even though the night period can feel long and dark and lonely sometimes. So, you know, it's that reminder that things are always cycling through and the things are always moving, and we can trust in the cycles that we're going through. And if we notice that there are cycles, that can also help us move through the energy, because cycles are the opposite of holding stagnant in a space. So when we're stagnant, we're not letting the energy cycle through or move. So this feels important for Monday for some of us. Let's trust in the cycles that we're going through at this time period. And then for Tuesday, the 13th of June, we have these two cards, the Black Panther and the Cockatoo. So we'll look at the Black Panther first. It's card 30, and it says to find acceptance on Tuesday. So this is especially acceptance of the things that we can't change, the things that are out of our control. So it could be physical issues, it could be health decline, it could be a shift in how someone feels about us and we might not feel the same, that there might be an acceptance that's needed. It could be the passing of a loved one. So the acceptance of things as they move in cycles. And if we're really grateful for and make the most of the cycles when they're at their height and their peak and when they're great, and we don't take them for granted, we don't take those people for granted, and we're grateful for them, like fully grateful, then as we cycle through and as people cycle out of our life or we cycle out of others, then there is, even though it's sad, there is a sense of acceptance because we made the most of that time we did spend together. There's only one person that's going to be with us for our whole life, and that's ourselves, from our first breath to our last. Every other person comes and goes. So if we can make the most of those precious moments and find gratitude in them when we enjoy them and when they're there for us, then it's not quite so difficult when things change and people move on or people pass away or people move or, you know, relationships change. So let's find acceptance but also make the most of the good things as much as we can in our life. And the other card for Tuesday is card 47, the Cockatoo, and it says, be compromising. So this is finding a compromise, especially if there's a difficulty, a challenge, a conflict of some sort, a misunderstanding or a clashing of swords. We may need to find a way to find a compromise between two clashing parties, let's say. There is a communication element to this card, so we may need to speak up on Tuesday and be kind of bold in our communications, but also perhaps like from a mediator perspective sort of feeling here, you know, how can we find peace in this situation that's got maybe two or more people's feathers ruffled up? So how can we find a peace? How can we find a compromise? How can we negotiate some type of thing that suits those parties involved? That's what I'm feeling here. And there's a social element too to the Cockatoo. So, I mean, these cards are interesting. They feel fairly straightforward this week. And it's probably in some ways quite the relief after some weeks of intensity. And, you know, we might have a little bit of space this week to settle into things and work our way through, find gratitude and that sort of thing. So there are our cards for this week. I am going to pull a theme card shortly. So before I do, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment, please share if you're inspired to, and if you would like to connect more privately, please send us a message through our website. So we've got a few things coming up. First of all, the Pillar of Light membership is currently on sale on the website only. So 3 months of Pillar of Light will actually get you 6 months, which is 45 Australian dollars. So that ends tonight at midnight, so in about 12-ish hours from now, or a little bit longer. So if you want to take advantage of that, that's on my website under the Pillar of Light membership. We have my next online classes coming up next Friday on the 16th of June. So the card reading club, we're going to be playing with the cards, which is lots of fun. We're going to be looking at our theme of yin-yang balance. And in my online art class, we're going to be looking at the masculine, feminine archetypes. So if you'd like to join me for those or learn more, you can learn more on my website. I've also just released some new ceramics on my ceramics website, leannepeters.com. So you're welcome to have a look there. If you want to grab yourself a deck of cards or learn more about me and the work I do here at Temple of Balance, please visit templeofbalance.com.au. Okay, let's grab our best theme card. The theme card will help bring this whole week together and help us see the bigger picture for this week ahead. So I'm looking for the best card the majority of us need for our theme for from the time period Wednesday the 7th of June through till Tuesday the 13th of June 2023. So the best theme card is this Speed of Light Oracle card. It's pause. Okay, so this is sort of highlighting a bit of what I was talking about just as I finished reading the cards. Card 25 called Pause. It says hold, time, transition, suspension, and limbo. There's a pause feeling in general this week, especially after the period or the hecticness or the chaos that we've kind of been through in recent weeks, and may even be stretching into the months now. Hopefully not years, but there is this pause feeling this week where we might find that we can slow down a bit. We might find that we find more pockets of time to rest, more pockets of time to catch up on sleep. We might even find our sleep starts to settle better this week than it has for the last week or two. So there is just this a general sense of rest and healing, of pause. Now, we might find that we're in between things, so we might feel transitional, where we probably feel a little bit unsettled, but we can use this time to prepare ourselves, and we can use this time to heal. So let's heal as well as give ourselves permission to pause this week. We might feel like we're in limbo, which is never comfortable, so we can probably find acceptance of that. This is just the way things are right now, and what can we do during this time? So during times of limbo, even though it's not ideal, okay, let's use this time to catch up on rest if we have that time. Let's use this time to prepare in whatever that it is that we've got coming up. So, you know, there is opportunity in the pause. There's opportunity in the resting if we give ourselves permission and the time, if possible, to access that. So I trust this supports you. Thank you so much for connecting today. Have a fantastic week ahead, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. Take care of yourself, and sending you lots of love from my heart to yours. Thank you so much. Namaste.